Welcome back once again. We finished the last session or the last presentation. We looked at what quality assurance is, characteristics of a comprehensive quality assurance program. We looked at determinants of quality as well as parameters of quality. So if in case you missed that other video, please check it out on this same thing. It was the first video that we made. So today we want to look at how is quality assessed, how is quality assured. Okay, so quality is assessed in two ways or in two forms. That is inspection of shipments. We can be positioned to assess, and then we can also carry out what we call laboratory testing. However, under inspection of shipments, each pharmaceutical shipment should be physically inspected. All samples are selected from all items to spot any major problem. So we looked at inspection. It is good to always inspect your medicine, and you should have a checklist. You should have a standard procedure of how you check. If you are receiving your medicine as a staff or as a team that is responsible for receiving medicines in a facility, you need to have a checklist, because when you have a checklist, you know what you are inspecting, and you are able to document it down or tell us that this I inspected this and everything was okay. For example, when you're receiving, you are going to inspect for any breakage, any leakage, in case they are for the case of liquids, you are going to look at that, or you will also inspect for the breakage. So training competent receiving staff can be an economical means of ensuring pharmaceutical quality and reducing losses from supplier negligence. So you might have selected the appropriate supplier. However, they may have something called negligence, knowing what to do but being reluctant to do it. That is what we call negligence. For example, you're supposed to be in the hospital and then you decide to stay home, and then since you are off duty the patient dies, and yet you didn't delegate anyone to occupy you, so you can be charged for medical negligence. All right, so considerations during physical pharmaceutical inspection, shipment inspection, included the following: adherence to the contract specifications. This is what you are going to inspect. Order completeness. Have they brought for us whatever we ordered for? Have they brought all of it? Then we are also going to inspect samples of all items to spot any major problems, and then we are going to do training of competent receiving staff. You should always keep training your staff to receive on different methods of receiving and what they need to check out in receiving. Inspection in the exporting countries done before shipments can be arranged in different agencies. And then the second one, we talked about laboratory testing upon arrival after shipment. Batch samples may be laboratory tested routinely or by exception. After you have inspected those other things, you're going to sample these products, and when you sample them, you are going to check expiries, you're going to check batch numbers, you're going to check a number of things. However, what we are much interested here is testing. You are going to look for different parameters, which we did in the last session. So testing by inspection means that exception means that analysis are done only when supplier or a particular product is suspect. Laboratory testing is costly in terms of technical human resources, equipment, and reagents used. The tests that should be performed depends on the pharmaceutical and the reason for testing. However, basic chemical analysis are done to verify identity, to look for degradation, chemical contamination, or adulterations. We are continuing with the laboratory testing, where we say that A complete analysis of tablet and capsule forms uh, tablets and capsule forms include tests for identity, strength, potency, uniformity, impurities, disintegration, and what we call dissolution. Let me try to zoom this. Okay, so we have biological testing as one of the tests that we carry out. Is more specialized and can be performed only in established facilities with staff trained to use microbiological tests. That may include sterility tests for injectables, and then medicine and eye preparations can also be. We can also do this antimicrobial tests or microbial tests. We are looking out, does our product contain any microorganisms in it? Then we have pharmacological tests, which may include the, pyro, the pyrogen tests, toxicity test, hormone assays such as insulin and pituitary derivatives, and tests to determine the bioavailability of selected pharmaceuticals. So under parameters, we also looked at testing for bioavailability, and we are clearly seeing it here. So this takes us, that is what you need to know about how quality is assessed. It has two forms or ways: inspection of components and laboratory testing. And under laboratory testing, you need to elaborate it well. Okay. So, however, let's look at the duties of quality assurance and quality control department. To prepare detailed instructions for each test and analysis, to ensure adequate identification and segregation of test samples to avoid mix-up and cross-contamination, to ensure that environmental monitoring and equipment validations are conducted as appropriate for evaluating the adequacy of manufacturing conditions. So these are their roles. When you're asked for roles of quality assurance, you give this. When you're asked for roles of quality control department, you give this, because quality control is part of quality assurance. Quality assurance is like the father, and then the children, the mother can be like good manufacturing practices, and then the children, the quality control. So not necessarily that, but that can give you an overview of how the whole thing is, or what we expect to know about it. We see here to release or reject raw materials and intermediate product if necessary, and then to release or reject packaging and labeling material, and final containers in which drugs are to be placed. So let's continue with the duties. Let's see other duties here. Other duties, we have them here, and they are telling us to release or reject each lot of finished preparations. After we have prepared medicine, we have to sample them out and do these different parameters, carry out these different tests. In case we find there is instability, in case we find that there is low quality, what we have prepared are of low quality, this quality control and quality assurance department will have to reject it from being released out to on market, because when we release it out on market, we are going to affect our patient, and it can as well lead to death or prolonged illness, or it can make our company lose credibility. Okay. To evaluate the quality, the next point is to evaluate the quality and stability of finished products, and when necessary of raw materials and intermediate products, to evaluate the adequacy of conditions under which raw materials and intermediate products and finished biological preparations are stored. Then we have to establish expiry dates on basis of validity period related to specified storage conditions. And then we also have to establish, and when necessary, reuse control procedures and specifications. And then we have to be responsible for the examination of the returned preparations to determine whether such preparations, let me scroll down a bit, to determine whether such, okay, just hold on there. Such preparation should be maintained. So those are the roles and responsibilities or duties of quality assurance and quality control department. So who should ensure quality? Who ensures quality? We have what we call regulatory bodies are responsible for ensuring quality. That is National Drug Authority, Joint Medical Stores, that is for the case of Uganda. And then others, we have WHO as well involved. It is a regulatory body. WHO, that is World Health Organization, is also part of the people or those who need to ensure quality, who have to enforce quality. Medicine and Therapeutic Committee as well ensures quality. Hospitals or clinics ensure quality, that is hospital administration and clinics. Management also ensure quality. Procurement unit, we talked about somewhere about appropriate selection of supplier. So we see that the procurement unit enables us to ensure they have correctly selected the right supplier or appropriate supplier. And then we see the pharmacy department, where we know by now the roles of the pharmacy department. We have the prescribers, we have the patients, and then we have those other professions in the field. Orthopedics, the lab technicians, those that are responsible for sonography, are also part of those that ensure quality. We have the nurses, midwives, they are also part of them. The list is long, so you include others. And then we have patients, physicians, okay. So that is it. How is quality assured? We looked at how quality is assessed. Now we are on how is quality assured. The safety, efficacy of active pharmaceutical ingredient is most critical attribute of pharmaceutical products. When the safety and efficacy of active pharmaceutical ingredients have been established, the dosage regimen is set to the minimum therapeutic level. So the minimum therapeutic level is attained without exceeding the maximum tolerated dosage. Obtaining medicine of good quality involves careful selection of supplier, products, compliance with good manufacturing practices, reliance on appropriate pharmaceutical products or batch certificates, and detailed contract specifications. Or there is need for us to have detailed detailed specifications. However, we are continuing with how quality is assessed. One of the way how quality can be assessed is when we have product selection by Medicine and Therapeutic Committee. In many systems, Therapeutic Medicine Formulary Committee first assess the safety and efficacy of selected medicine on the basis of evidence from clinical trials. Specific product selection involves assessing the technical documentation provided by the supplier on the pharmaceutical characteristics of a dosage form, should offer longer shelf life. Bioequivalence among different manufacturers product may also be necessary. And then we have select product with packaging that can withstand rough transport and extreme climatic condition. So that is how one way under selection, those are things we have to put in place when we are selecting, when the Medicine and Therapeutic Committee is participating or has sat down in order to do selection of medicine. Okay. So here we see that selection of appropriate supplier is the second thing of how quality can be assured. First was selection of raw materials or medicine by medicine and therapeutic committee. The next is selection of appropriate supplier. Selection of appropriate supplier or careful supplier selection. This step may be the most critical in quality assurance supplier. A supplier can be selected competitively by restricted tender with a pre-quantification through open tender. Okay, these are the different methods of procurement. We have restricted tender and open tender and other methods of procurement. Standard procedures for selecting appropriate supplier may include: what are some of the things you need to put in mind as you are selecting an appropriate supplier? Requiring certification of suppliers, gathering information on supplier reliability, product quality, inspecting product sample, the sample that you bring, and then conducting laboratory testing of pharmaceuticals with high potential for bioavailability or stability problems. Those with a potential to have a stability problem, you do testing on them. You carry out testing on them. And this after this, it takes us to the third way in which we assure for quality, which is product certification. Every product you need to have a certificate for every product you form that is manufactured. So you find that you are assuring quality. You are making sure that whatever you are preparing is of quality. Okay, so we see that product certification provided product certification provided assurance based on inspection of manufacturing facilities for good manufacturing practices by the competent authorities of the exporting country. For a procurement office, it would be an expensive means to help ensure the quality of purchase of the purchased product. Okay, so there is need to have these certificates, these goods or these raw materials, the products you form. Make sure you have a certificate for it. Then we have contract terms. In case you have agreed with your supplier, what are your contract specifications or terms with them? Detailed specification ensure that high quality products are brought and they are received, bought and received. The next is appropriate storage. Procedure for maintenance of pharmaceutical quality must be documented in order to ensure proper storage of products at the port and the prompt release. The next is what we call distribution as the next. Proper transport condition must be addressed in order to maintain the product quality. And then the last one, how quality is assured, is at the dispensing and how they use procedures are explained. Inappropriate dispensing procedures contribute to the pharmaceutical product deterioration and contamination of medication errors. The following procedures ensure and maintain the quality of pharmaceutical products. Use only proper dispensing containers. Require clear labeling of your dispensing medicine or while dispensing medicine, and then write information and instruction in the local language for those who may not get English. Avoid use of abbreviation or use of symbols as you are giving instructions to your patients. Okay, prescribers and dispensers should counsel the patient on proper use of medication. So that is the last step. That is our second last, where we look at dispensing. The third last is what we call product monitoring system. After you have given a patient the medicine and they have gone home with it, you have to monitor the compliance and adherence of this patient to the medication you've given. And if they are complying to the dosage and the instructions, you also look at, are there any adverse drug reactions? So that brings us to product monitoring. This involves or includes monitoring of adverse drug reactions or events and medication errors. So product problem reporting, after you have monitored, in case there are problems that have come up in the process of monitoring, there is need for you to report them. So establishing product problem reporting system is important so that health workers can report suspected or confirmed problems with specific pharmaceutical products. For there is something we need to note here. We see that a product problem reporting should be part of an overall pharmacovigilance system. I remember speaking about pharmacovigilance as all activities that involve monitoring and reporting of adverse drug reactions. And then how should people analyze the product problem report? It should also be put clearly. And that takes us to how we have to analyze a a problem has come. People are bringing complaints about your product. How are you going to analyze whatever problems or information you're getting? This is we see that a quality assurance program staff should carefully analyze all the reports they receive from all corners of the country, all corners of the world. They have to analyze them. And after they have analyzed them, they use laboratory testing as required. You look at that what should have happened exactly written that story. So you carry out different tests and takes you back to the parameters. You look at identity, you look at the strength, you look at the potency, you look at the bioavailability, you look at the stability. Those are the different laboratory tests that you can carry out. Pharmacological laboratory tests or biological laboratory tests where you look out for the microbial instability. And then after you have found out the problem, after you have done the testing, you take appropriate action depending on what problem you found out while you were testing. And then we find that the reporter should be informed. Those who report to us, the manufacturers, should inform. We have to give feedback. We see that effective communication or communication is not effective if the sender does not receive feedback. So here there is need for us to send back the information. The reporter should be informed about the results and action taken. Encourage continued participation in the program. We keep encouraging people to keep giving us feedback. And then product problem report and result should be recorded to provide information for the future procurement. We keep the records so that we always keep referring to what already happened or to the memory, to the history. What they say, history repeats itself. If we don't keep monitoring what has already happened, it will keep repeating. We shall keep repeating the same thing, making the same mistakes, doing the same wrong things. Okay, so that takes us to what we call product recall. Pharmaceutical products found to be defective should be recalled quickly. Rapid action when taken avoids unnecessary exposure once the problem has been detected. Recall notices have to be sent to all health facilities that required any of the product in the question to check their shelves and return the product to the central distribution point. Okay, so we find that in case we have got a problem with the medicine, there is no need for patients to keep consuming the medicine. We have to recall back the medicine to the manufacturing unit. So recalls may be classified according to the degree of risk to the consumer. So that is, we can say we have those that will, those conditions or the reason for recall will have caused serious illness or death, or could have caused temporal or mild illness, or will have just caused adverse effects. A level of recall is determined by both degree of risk and the extent of distribution of the product and may be directed at the patient, the health facility, or the medical store. Okay. After issuing recall information or alert, the quality assurance program should monitor its progress to ensure complete compliance. Some people, after they have stocked much of this product of ours, they will feel they don't want to return it back or have that loss. So there is need for the quality assurance program in our manufacturing unit to follow up and see how are people complying to returning the medicine that is giving people issues on market. How are they complying to it? How are they accepting to return them? The supplier should be notified and required to replace defective products. Okay, and then we have implications of pharmaceutical quality assurance for medicine and therapeutic committee. For us to know that this committee is present, we see that they should provide us with the technical advice on procurement of pharmaceuticals and other departments, and then analyze product problem reports. They should be also part of that. Okay, this brings us the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Thank you so much for listening. I wish you all the best and stay blessed.